Hello everyone, today I'll be doing a video on these four knives in front of you. Today's video pretty much be dedicated on why I have these knives and why I believe that these knives are ECD, which basically means everyday carry. So to start off, I'll give you a little bit of background about these knives, the companies, how long I've had them for, how much they cost, etc, and just pretty much sum up which ones I like the most, which ones are more valuable to me, and pretty much which ones I like the most. So to start off, I'll start off with my CRKT Taj Tac 2. Pretty much what I like about this knife is the fact that really you can open it in three different ways. So first of all, this knife has a button lock. So pretty much just squeezing on the button and the knife comes down. Also, if you want to activate the knife, you can also press the button and the knife comes out. It's also manually open through these two thumb studs, which is ambidextrous. There again, comes out smooth like butter. And it also has a flipper, which also comes out pretty smooth. Probably the best way to open this knife, in all honesty, is probably with the thumb studs. And the reason why I say this for is because, firstly, with the flipper, it is smooth. However, in the top of the handle, there's kind of the spacing which isn't too smooth. So once you actually deploy the flipper, do that again, it actually just sinks into the. It's not all that bad, but it's just a little bit annoying. I'm not really a big fan of it. With the button as well, the only downside it has to it is if you over flick and you're still holding onto the button, it does that. So you're really got to be careful with how you're deploying it with the button. I find the easiest and most effective way is just pretty much with the thumb studs. Comes out smooth as butter, no problems. The other good thing about it is I like the Tanto blade on it. Really good for piecing and surprisingly really good for slicing as well. It's got a good deep pocket clip. Solid, never had any issues with it. Zero knife play with this knife, which is also really good. The nylon handle is not only sexy but light and almost disappears in your pocket, even though this is a pretty big knife. The second one on the list, which is probably the one I've had the longest, is probably my Spyderco Delica 4. Like I said, I've had this knife for the longest. It has the up top lock from here, so pretty much it's pretty much ambidextrous to close, like so. Only downside to this knife is really the hole, or the access gap, I like to call it. It's kind of hard to put in a thumb in there, so you're going to kind of put a bit of effort to unload this knife with one hand. Also, a good thing about this knife is the VG10 steel is apparently really good and really durable. The only bad thing about this knife is the sharpness dulled out pretty quickly. However, in terms of its durability and its everyday use, it served me pretty well. Just needs probably another second coat of sharpening just to get this guy running and kicking. Zero blade play with this knife. Never had any problems with the mechanics of it. The locks work fine. A lot of people have always hated these midway locks. I don't know why. I find it easy to close and open with one hand. Generally, it disappears in your pocket, so you barely feel it in your pocket. The clip is also pretty good. You can put it on both sides of the knife. And just a really reliable knife. Probably one of the most reliable knives on the table, to be honest with you. So that's the Delica Spyderco 4. The next one on the list is probably my second oldest one, which is my CRKT Swindle, designed by Ken Onion. This is actually my first flipper, so this pretty much has I would say a pretty firm place in my heart. What can I say about this knife? Like I said, it's my first flipper. Satin finish. Probably the only crappy thing I had about this knife when I bought it from the fucker that sold it to me was it has a little bit of a chip in the blade. I also like the lock on this knife. It's a frame lock. Most people tend to say that the frame locks are the safest and most sturdiest. I mean, I've had no problems with this knife in terms of its blade play. I think I've only tightened once, and that wasn't because it was out of whack. It was just because I just wanted to tighten it because I like a tight fixed blade. The also unique thing about this knife is the pocket clip. When I first saw it, I was a bit stumped by it because I wasn't sure it was going to do the job in the pocket. However, I've been carrying this knife for probably roughly around 3 months, and I've grown very fond of this actual pocket clip. It works really well. The flip was probably, in terms of smoothness, probably give it about a 6 out of 10. It kind of leaves a bit of a mark on the index finger, and you're going to give a bit of a pull. It's not as smooth as, for example, the CRKT Taj 2. But I mean, it's a very nice gentleman's knife. It's a very nice ECD knife. It's got a good lock, good frame lock. It's got good jimping. And it still has its sharpness more than the Delica. And I've actually used the Delica more than I've used the Swindle. So in terms of sharpness and durability of the blade, the CRKT Swindle takes the cake for this one. Lastly, the knife which I just got probably about an hour ago in the mail, which is the Benchmade Griptilian 556. It's actually my first Benchmade that I've ever owned in any type of knife. The reason why I got the Griptilian for was because when I went online, before I usually buy these knives, I just usually see which one's the best, most popular, most effective. With me, when I buy a knife, I usually buy a knife for really one reason, EDC. And probably the second reason is having it last for as long as it can. And really the knife that really sticks out with a lot of the knife freaks is the Benchmade. And the series that stuck out the most was the Griptilian, which is the one on my hand. I like this knife really because it's small. It's actually probably the smallest knife on the list. And I really like this access lock for 2 reasons. One, because it's really smooth, it's really safe, and you can open and close the knife with the lock as well. But even the thumb studs on it are also really good, and it comes out really smoothly like butter, so no problems with that. Really sharp, feels really good in the hand, very ergonomic. Nice jimping on the knife. Really small, so like I said, it's made to be an ECD knife, EDC knife. Sorry. Probably the other good thing about Benchmade is the fact that it is also made in the US. Not that I'm taken away from other knife makers, but Spyderco initially was a Colorado brand, and now you find rip-offs from, for example, my one right here, Japan and China and other parts of the world. And not that I'm taking away from those other makers, but I feel like with American knives, they're more made to last. And like I said, I buy knives for the purpose of lasting me a very long time. And I feel like out of all these knives, in terms of everyday carry, in terms of durability, in terms of functionality, I mean, they all serve that purpose. It just really depends on what really tickles your fancy and why. I mean, you could like these knives for all different kinds of reasons. You could like them for the brand, you could like them for how they open, for how they close, for the durability, for their sharpness, whatever the case might be. I mean, in my particular case, it's really more just the finances at this point. And really, when I do buy a knife, or how I'm starting to buy knives, is knives that are pretty much going to last me a very long time. I mean, we'll put these knives in order, and we'll just go through just the pricing and which knife I believe will last longer. And is, I wouldn't say better, but in my particular opinion, and all this really is just my opinion, which one will last and which one is more durable and functional. I'll start off probably the most expensive on the list. Obviously the Benchmade. This is only a mini. This is a 556 reptilian, and this bad boy cost me probably around $160. That's included with shipping. And this is only, like I said, the mini version. I assume probably the more original, bigger sizes will probably cost you around $250-300. That's obviously Australian. American, I have no idea, probably cheaper. But then again, in saying that, spending that $160 for a mini, or spending $160 in general for a pocket knife, what you gotta understand is that this knife, above all these knives, is gonna last me way more, and that just means in the steel, the functionality, durability, and even maybe even me liking it. Who knows? The company of Benchmade, from what I saw from the brochure that I got, really looks after their customers. I mean, it just gives you this pretty decked out brochure about how to look after the knife and the ins and outs of the knife, and if you need sharpening or fixing, they're more than happy to fix that. So really, you're buying not just a knife, you're buying a company, and you're buying a company that you know is going to look after you, which is why I'm very much shifting towards Benchmade. But then again, it's just another thing that's not in my corner is obviously the finances. These are pretty expensive, hefty blades to carry and to own. Second lot of knives, which really got me into knives and mainly into pocket knives, was the CRKTs. Now, there's always been this debate online about CRKTs versus Benchmade because they're both purely American brands. Now, the thing is, both knives are extremely popular, extremely durable, extremely good, and both companies make pretty good EDC knives. However, the only thing is with CRKT compared to Benchmade is that these, what's debated is that the material on CRKT won't be as durable as the material on Benchmade. Now, this is from my own opinion, my own experiences. I'm not giving any data-based answer right now, but I've had CRKT knives now probably around 3 months. I first hopped onto these knives from a weapons expo, and this was my first proper pocket knife that I ever bought. And the swindle cost me probably about I think about $95, which was last year, and I've had no issues with it. It's kept its durability, it's kept the sharpness. I've actually dropped it a few times. I'm not sure if you can see the wear and tear on the actual knife itself. And I've had no problems. I've never had to send it for fixing, nothing like that. The CRKT Taj 2 came to me as a Christmas present. And I think this knife roughly costs... Let's just fix the camera, sorry about that. I think roughly costs probably about $100. I mean, once again, I've only had it for probably about not even a month, a couple of weeks, and I've had no issues with the durability, the sharpness, nothing. I've even dropped it a couple of times. You can even see just on the top parts of the actual handle, I've dropped it a few times. And this is a nylon material, so it's not the most impactful material, and I've had no problems. The Spyderco is the first knife that I bought in terms of what I classify as EDC. I mean, out of all these knives as well, I mean, they say incredible things about Spyderco, especially, for example, the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. A lot of good knives that come out of this company. Probably the only downfall that I've had with the Spyderco is the fact that I haven't used one that's made from America. Once again, not that I'm disclaiming any other knife makers from any other part of the world. Like I said, I buy knives because I like them to last and be durable. But then again, and this is a Japanese-made version. It's a Delica 4, and I've had no dramas in terms of its functionality. The only downside I had to it was just the blade's gone dull. It still cuts, but not as smooth as it used to, and I've only had it for probably about probably the longest out of these two. So I probably had it about 4 months easily. And there's only if you see on the clip on the pocket clip of the knife, there's just a bit of wear and tear. But so that's the really only complaint I have to say about it. And it's a very, and the handles is a G10 handle, which makes it very light and ergonomic, and it feels good in the hand. So really the only problem I've had with the knife is just the dullness of the blade. But then again, yeah, that's pretty much what it all falls down to. So with all these knives, I mean, any knife expert can say I'm full of shit or I'm wrong. End of the day, these are my opinions, these are my experiences, this is how I feel about these knives. End of the day, I mean, if I was to pick one, if I was to pick two, if I was to pick all of them, once again, that really just depends on what I want these knives for and what they've done for me. I mean, I could be sitting here and saying the Benchmade is probably the best one out of all these knives, but then you have someone else coming out saying, it's a piece of shit, it didn't last me a month or two, like a year. Then again, it just all falls down to experience. The other thing I really want to hack into as a knife kind of guy is that, you know, say for example, people get like a CRKT, one of these knives here in front of me, for example, excuse me, and they go outside and they want to hack wood with it, or they want to pry nails with it, or whatever, some stupid chore, and the knife breaks, or the knife rusts, or whatever the case may be. You have people going online just absolutely hammering these knife makers and these knife companies and the knife itself. Once again, you got to go back and figure out why you're buying these knives for and what you're going to use it for. I mean, even though this is a Benchmade and it's made out of good material, I'm not going to go and hack fucking wood with it and fucking unscrew fucking nails with it and God knows what else. This is a EDC, everyday pocket use knife. So basically what these knives will be made for, maybe these three here, is pretty much things like opening boxes, opening envelopes, maybe cutting up food like fruit or such. These fucking things are not made to go and fucking fight walls with. Even this knife, the Taj 2 CRKT, can be used as an EDC knife. However, it has kind of a, you know, very tactical military look about it. But I mean, I've had no dramas carrying this every single day. It served me pretty well. I've dropped it a couple of times and it's very durable. So, to sum it up really, just be smart about what you want in a knife. Just be smart in how you use them. I mean, we'll have different opinions, we'll have different tastes. And just figure out what you want to buy it for. And I promise you, once you put A and B together, C is going to come out as your answer. And that's pretty much the only real rules you got to know about knives. And about buying pocket knives and knives in general. So, there you have it guys. Enjoy.